I often get introduced as a serial entrepreneur, and what most people don't realize is that most of the time that's because you can only afford to eat cereal. And it sounds a little catchier than like cup noodle entrepreneur, I think, and things like this. But it's been, it's a rough ride lots of times, and I think a lot of people here have probably experienced it. But it's been quite a ride since I got out of our Corps. I like to call it, that's my new terminology. I call it our Corps rather than the Corps and our Navy. But I'm working on the nomenclature there. You'll see it more and more online. But really, it's a crazy life that we're in. It's hard for me to. I can't tell you that I really planned how things were going to work out. As Dennis and I were talking earlier, each time I go into a new venture, for some reason, I completely change industry and do something that's different, that doesn't have any connection to anything before. So here we are. We started, like I said, I'll get into the Securrency story. I think you guys know a bunch of the people. I think there might be 15 or 20 classmates in total who are part of that story. So am I able to share screen here, Jason?
Yes, you should have sharing permission.
This was this is without any sort of backup plan, and you'll see as we go through the story and as we went through the Securrency story, there were plenty of times when we were tested in terms of, whether you're the chicken or the pig. And it kind of became a joke that I used to tell often was, just like it says here, the chicken's involved, but the pig is committed. So it's a story that I think some people have heard some parts of it, but I don't know that it's really been told. And I took a lot of screenshots over the years, which I'm not using tonight, and all. But eventually, this may be a story that's told better than what it is. So the other thing I would say is, in terms of getting into any sort of a venture here, is I talk with a lot of my friends, and I found, like, as you go through life, as you've been through a certain struggle, often you end up the pro bono counselor for people who are going through similar struggles, and whatever that is. And it might be an entrepreneurial challenge, it might be a divorce, it might be whatever the case is. But whenever you get into these things, I find it's useful to go find people who've been through similar things. And one of my favorites is there's a famous guy. I think a lot of people have probably heard of the company called Blackstone. And Blackstone is, I don't know if it's the largest private equity fund, but it's certainly one of the largest in the world. And the guy who founded it is a guy named Stephen Schwarzman, who is quite a talented entrepreneur, to say the least. And what I'll start off with is just a couple of paragraphs from his book. Here is what I'll share. And you can see the pages here.
Yes.
So this is just 3 little paragraphs, and this is, one of the most successful entrepreneurs that we'll find anywhere, and it's real simple. So, and I'll just read this out loud here. Is this: first, your idea has to be big enough to justify devoting your life to. Make sure it has the potential to be huge. And he goes on to say, it takes about as much effort to do something big as something small. So you may as well aim for something big. Second, it should be unique. When people see what you're offering, they should say to themselves, "My gosh, I need this." And that's, I think that's probably, it's easy to fall in love with your idea, but it's really when it gets validated, it's when other people are willing to put up money for it. And third, your timing has to be right. And I think there's plenty of examples of timing being wrong. And I think the Apple Newton is my favorite example I like to use, that essentially the Apple Newton was a precursor to our smartphones and everything we use right now, and such, and it failed as far as Apple's concerned. And then the highlighted part here is the other part. It says, then you have to be ready for the pain. No entrepreneur anticipates or wants pain, but pain is the reality of starting something new. It's just unavoidable. And I think that's largely a fact. Anyone who's been through the ups and downs, it feels like when you're going through it that you're in a unique situation. But it's amazing how often people are like, that's nothing. I've been through worse. I've been more broke. I've been, in more dire straits. But so that's the one thing. The only thing I would recommend is Stephen Schwarzman. The book's called What It Takes. So the other part is making sure your partner's involved or partners on board with this. And I would say that, any sort of a venture that you're looking to do, it'll test whatever relationship that you're in. And one of our classmates said to me one time that he referred to his wife while he was working on an entrepreneurial venture as the majority partner. And so I thought it was an interesting term, but setting the expectations, whether it's a husband or wife, is a big challenge. And the guys, our classmates we went through, miraculously, our classmates are still married, the two co-founders that we started the company with. But certainly if you end up in a divorce in the middle of any venture, you can pretty well kill your business, I would say. And a great example of that is Jeff Bezos. I would say his wife stuck with him. That guy was making millions of dollars a year. Probably a lot of people know the story. And he walked away from it all. And everyone he knew said he was crazy, as you can imagine. And he stuck it out. And his wife stuck with him for a while, and for quite a few of those years. And it's a struggle, I can tell you. If you're going home and you're having to have a battle each night as you're going through the struggles of building a business, it's going to be pretty tough.